Scott Larabee. I'm the Organized Play Magic Program Manager at Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to talk about my Damia Sage of Stone deck, also known as Damia and her Zombies. Okay, so this is Damia and her Zombies. Damia tries to take advantage of, so Damia is a death touch, skip your draw step, and you get to draw 7 cards, up to 7 cards during your upkeep instead. So I wanted to make a deck that took advantage of this and just was a zombie crazy. So go through the lands real quick. I run all the cycling lands from Onslaught. So there's Tranquil Thicket. We've got some nice tropical, foreign tropical island there. Fetch lands, Misty Rainforest, got an Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, helps out with the swamps. Got some basic forests, basic swamps, another fetch land, a Marsh Flats. Got Verdant Catacombs, another fetch land. Overgrown Tomb, run all 3 of the shock lands in these colors. Maze of Ith, got to run one in every commander deck. Got Cabal Coffers, Cabal good with the Urborg, get you lots of mana. Got a swamp, got a beautiful Italian French underground sea there. Got island, another fetch land. I like to run the filter lands from the Shadowmoor block rather than pain lands from Ice Age or something like that. I find these really good for mana correction. Swamp, forest, Watery Grave, same old. Another cycling land. Command tower, of course. Playing commander, gotta have that. Run a Phyrexian Tower. This card is something I've started putting all my black picks recently. This thing is nuts. Combo's really good with the Grave Pack that's in the deck, and always want to have a sack outlet in all your decks. Gaea's Cradle. This deck's going to make lots of zombie tokens, so we can generate a lot of mana with Gaea's Cradle. The Swamp. Another Painland Breeding Pool. Temple of the False God. Every deck. Barren Moor Cycling Land. It's Wasteland. Got to be able to get rid of the other guys' ridiculously broken lands. The Swamp, another filter land, Bojuka Bog. Want to be able to get rid of other people's graveyards before your living death goes off. Got Polluted Delta, my only white border card, my sad white border Bayou. Volrath Stronghold, good for bringing your key creatures back, putting them on top of your deck. Run that in most of my black decks too. Got Swamp, Island. Okay, now we get to the meat. So this deck is a zombie deck. It doesn't have all zombies though, but I want them to all be zombies. So the first card I'm going to show you guys is Conspiracy. This card's from Arcadian Mass. Was on the bonus sheet in Time Spiral as well. And this lets you basically all your creatures, no matter where they are in your deck, graveyard, deck, anywhere, are zombies. This really helps the deck work. The other card I'm working on with here is Null Profusion. Null Profusion's awesome. You're already skipping your draw step, so I automatically looked at all the other cards that make you skip your draw step to see if I want to run them. This one's great, because when we get to some of these other cards, like the next one, you'll see why it's really cool. Maximum hand size is 2, but that's only important at the end of the turn, and that's okay, because with Damia, I'll draw 5 if I get down to 2. This one's the nuts, though, the Rooftop Storm. So if all the creatures in my deck are zombie, and they're all free, and every turn I play a card, I draw a card, this deck can really go nuts there. Other card that's cool is Cream of the Crop. So every time a creature comes into play, I get to kind of filter the deck and get zombies on top so I can play them off the Rooftop Storm without it happening. Ultra Dementia is really fun because this deck can also double as a mill your opponent out deck. So Ultra Dementia has made a lot of creature cards. I'm going to make lots and lots of zombie tokens with this deck. And so the Ultra Dementia will allow me to mill off people's decks. Something I always do in all the decks that I make is have 1 or 2 free sack outlets no matter what. And Ultra Dementia is a really good one there. It's just sacrifice a creature : I always put a couple of those in every deck I do. There's too many living deaths running around out there for me not to do that. And the last really cool card I'm going to show you here is Tombstone Stairwell. This is an oldie but a goodie. Not a lot of people know about this card. This thing can be pretty crazy. Basically, during each upkeep, everybody puts zombie tokens into play equal to the number of creatures they have in their graveyard. It's got cumulative upkeep. And so basically you're getting tokens every turn, and so is your opponents. But if you've got more creatures in there, it's great. And with some of the other cards in here, like Nantuko Husk and Grave Pact, you can do some crazy stuff every turn. Just wipe the board, and then you've always got the stuff ready to go. Endless Ranks of the Dead. We're going to make a lot of zombie tokens. We just want to keep getting more and more and more. Syphon Flesh, same thing. Get people to sacrifice some creatures and put some more zombies into play. Army of the Damned, of course, because, you know, why not? If you're going to make zombie tokens, 13 is better than 2. Mimic that. I tend to run this card in every deck I make nowadays. It's like 5 cards I put in every deck, and this thing is just worth its weight in gold in every deck I play. Living Death, because it's black, and Living Death is in all black decks, or it should be. This thing can help you just get all your creatures back, and if you play it right by removing other people's cards, you'll, you know, it's like a Wrath of God and a Mass Resurrection all at the same time. Grave Pack combos really nicely. You know, whenever you sacrifice a creature, everybody else, whenever a creature of mine dies, everybody else has to sacrifice one. This thing is the nuts in this deck. Decree of Pain can draw lots and lots of cards. It's not bad when you cycle it either. Beacon of Unrest, like to be able to get my stuff back, and you know, sometimes my opponents have better stuff than I do. So, Demonic Tutor, of course. Eldrazi Monument. One of the problems with this deck that I noticed in the first couple of builds, it only had 2 flyers in it, and so it had like no flying defense. So I'm like, what am I going to do here? And I went, oh, we'll just go for the nut one and see what happens. This thing, by the way, combos awesome with Tombstone Stairwell, because Tombstone Stairwell, you don't sacrifice the tokens in the turn, they're destroyed. And so with this, yours are not. So it's really crazy. Oblivion Stone, got to be able to reset the board. Syphon Mind, I tend to run this. This one's one of my favorite cards to play in black decks. Get everybody to discard a card and get to draw some cards that way. Survival of the Fittest. This card lets me go get some of the early zombie cards that I need to really make the deck run. Soul Ring, every deck. Call to the Grave. This one's pretty cool. If all my stuff is zombies and everybody else's aren't, they're going to sacrifice a creature each upkeep, and I'm never going to do it. Stitched Together. This is kind of an oldie goodie. This one's, you know, return a card from your creature card graveyard hand. If you have Threshold, if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you just put it right into play. Oh, for 2 black. This thing can be really good in this deck because I'm going to fill up my graveyard really quick. Lightning Greaves, everybody knows that. Parallel Lives, I'm going to double up all those zombie tokens that are coming into play. A lot of people ask me about Doubling Season. I don't want to run Doubling Season because the cumulative upkeep on the Tombstone Stairwell is tokens now, and I don't want that to double, so I'm running this one. This one's a little more flexible. Zombie Infestation, this thing is awesome. Lets me fill up my graveyard with the creatures I want to and put tokens into play at the same time. This thing is crazy. And Grimoire of the Dead. As long as I'm discarding cards, might as well try and get everything back. Damnation, a little bit of more board clearing, gotta have that. Now we'll get to the creature cards. So, about 2/3 of the creature cards in here are zombies. Not all of them are. The deck needs a little bit of utility to really make it work, but the Conspiracy takes care of a lot of that. Graveborn Muse, beginning of my upkeep, I draw X cards, lose X life, where X is the number of zombies I control. Got to be careful here, it's not optional, so I got to be careful about when I do it, but you can just draw up a massive amount of cards. It works really nicely with the Rooftop Storm. Noxious Ghoul, this card is from, what is that? Legions. It says whenever he comes into play, or another zombie comes into play, all non-zombie creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. So, you know, Gravespawn Sovereign, this guy's crazy. He is a zombie. He's a zombie lord from Onslaught. And if I tap 5 untapped zombies, I can put a target creature from anybody's graveyard into play. This thing is crazy nuts and combos very nicely with a card coming up in a little while. Corpse Harvester. If I sacrifice a creature, like a zombie token, I can search my library for a zombie card and a swamp. So that's really nice acceleration when we get this guy going. Cemetery Reaper, all my zombies get +1/+1, and I can exile other people's cards from their graveyard, part of the Living Death, and putting even more zombie tokens into play. Undead War Chief makes all my zombies cheaper. In the meantime, before I get my Rooftop Storm, and zombies all get +2/+1. This guy's a killer. Love this guy. Skullbriar. A lot of people don't know this guy's a zombie. And he's green-black, and he's got the tokens on him, and they never go away, and you just keep bringing this guy back, and he's just huge. He's really big. Sidraxis Alchemist. This one's a little odd. It says, you know, if it comes into play and you control a blue permanent, you can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. He's a zombie. You always want to be able to bounce something. He's really cool. If I want to reset my Tombstone Stairwell, I can bounce it back to my hand and replay it. So, Death Baron, again, all zombies +1/+1. They all get Death Touch at that point. Extractor Demon, really cool for milling. Whenever another creature leaves play, and that's anybody's creature, so off the Damnation, and it's got Unearthed, so I can keep bringing it back. This guy's really good. Undead Alchemist, I think everybody knows who he is. I obviously can mill people out if there's 50 zombie tokens on the board and I'm hitting them, because it's a zombie you control. So all my zombies work with this guy. The Lich Lord of Unks. This guy, I've actually won multiple games because this guy was on the board. He's really good. Just get a whole bunch of zombies in play and start doing that second ability. Target player loses X life and mills the thing. I've killed more people with just the life than anything. It's really, really good. This is a people who went over this one. This is an old Korean zombie master. Gives all my zombies swamp walk and regenerate. It's pretty good. Especially with the Urborg in play. Can attack anybody they can't block. Gravedigger, nice zombie, lets me get creatures back. Primeval Titan. This guy's not obviously a zombie, but the deck was having some trouble getting some lands, and I think he's fun to play with. He's awesome. Acidic Slime. This is kind of a staple green card for Commander nowadays. Everybody's running it. Just solves so many problems. Being able to get rid of enchantment or a land or an artifact. It's hard not to play him. Geth, of course. Part of the milling, getting creatures back. This guy is crazy. Fleshbag Marauder, sacrificing creatures. Obviously, when you bring him into play, you can sacrifice him. Works really well with the Grave Pact for clearing the board off. Soulless One. This guy's an old one. He's a zombie avatar from Onslaught. Power and toughness equal to the number of zombies in play, plus number of zombie cards in all graveyards. This guy can get really, really big. And if you're swamp walking, he's great. Glissa the Trader, also an elf, a zombie elf. Allows me to get back, you know, whatever. The Oblivion Stone tends to destroy all your artifacts, and with her you can start getting them all back. The Mimeoplasm, not really a zombie, but when you're filling up graveyards with all kinds of milling, this guy can just come out and be crazy fun. Lord of the Undead, again, zombie creatures getting bigger, and you can return him to your hand. Yawgmoth Elder, this guy's, I put him in every green deck now. He's just really good for getting lands out of your deck and being able to draw cards. Just multifunctional. Grave Titan, of course, because he makes all the 2/2 zombie creatures. Evil Twin, this guy I put in, he's fun. I like to be able to clone things, I like to be able to kill other people's legends, things like that. And he's got the really cool ability. Grimgrin, because why not? He's fun. Be good for sacrificing creatures and untapping. He's very good. Vulture is zombie, one of the only 2 flyers in the deck. This thing's really good when everybody's putting cards into their graveyard. Your opponents gets this guy can get really big really fast. Be flying over. Nantuko Husk, this guy is key. This is another one of those sack outlets. Sacrifice a creature. Love games where I have Tombstone Stairwell in play and this guy in play, because and Grave Pact. It's just ridiculous. You can just keep clearing the board. This guy gets huge. You attack. It's awesome. Seedborn Muse. This is kind of some people like this card, some people don't. In this deck, it really helps power up some of the things that you can do every turn. The guy who taps the 5 zombie to bring stuff back, you can just do it every turn. He's really good. There's a lot of creatures with activated abilities in here. The guy will let you go search up zombies and swamps, all that. You get to use it every turn with this guy. Solemn Simulacrum goes in every deck. Shouldn't be surprised. Marrow Chomper, this guy's kind of cool. He is a zombie, and he's got Devour too, so you can bring him into play. And when you Devour, you gain life. So this deck doesn't have a lot of life gaining in it, so this is a good way to do that. He can get really big too if you bring him off. Vengeful Dead, whenever he or another zombie is put into a graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. I've won games just because this guy's in play, and I damnation. Done, game over. And Eternal Witness, of course, be able to get stuff back from the graveyard to keep the combo going. Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.